so glad. Thank you.
How to make the sale. All semester we've been building up to this moment. How do we consummate the sale? How do we get the buyer to part with his money for our product or service? Number one, you can't have any fear that somehow something negative is going to happen if he says no. Because no doesn't mean a darn thing, except in dating. In sales, no doesn't mean anything. You don't understand. You got to get more information. So don't worry about ever asking for the order. When it's the right time to do it, do it. So today you're going to learn. How do I complete the new model of selling? We talked about how important it is to build trust. How building trust enables you to ask questions and cause the person, when you probe, to give you honest answers. We talked about connecting benefits to needs when you make your presentation. Now we're here. How to confirm that everything you've done is correct and get the person to say yes. When you do this successfully, you're going to get more orders. Your sales manager is going to love you because his compensation is tied to how well you can close. And you're going to have more Benjamins in your pocket and in your account. So let's start today and talk about an attitude that you must have that will enable you to readily close the account. Here's the attitude. If you know that you have identified a need and you know it's the best solution, what you have to do then is help your client make the right decision. So you're focusing on them. You're not focusing on your product, as hard as that is. You're focusing on them, and when you know that they have a need you can fulfill, this is when you can push. I'm going to talk about what that means. Closing a sale, as we started in lecture 1, was not always consummated this way. There are 1,001 different manipulative ways to close a sale. I'm not teaching you what they are, but they're out there. The best example, perhaps, is Alec Baldwin in the old sales favorite, or say favorite. It demonstrates pure manipulation. Glengarry Glen Ross, where Alec Baldwin stands at the front and he says, A, B, C, always be closing, always be closing, always be closing. For all practical purposes, Alec Baldwin is dead. With that approach. So it is easier for you when you close the sale. It is easier for you to focus on their value proposition from their perspective. Now you have a value proposition, which is your one-sentence description of the benefit that will flow to them by doing business with you. But if you can put the client's glasses on and look at that value proposition from their perspective and say to yourself, they need this. This is the attitude you need to have to say that I'm going to figure out what close I need to use to get this person to do what is best for them. Now we talked about this, but what's the difference between manipulation and persuasion?
Persuasion is whenever you convince them and it benefits them. Manipulation is whenever you persuade them and it only benefits you.
Got it. You are manipulating someone if the benefit you seek is yours only. You are persuading them even if they acknowledge that they will get personal benefits from this. Okay, excellent. Now, why is this attitude important? Because you need to understand what's going on in the mind of the buyer when you are approaching the close. There's lots of buyer's remorse that is setting in. What is buyer's remorse? One, the money that they are going to use, they're going to trade for your product or service, is going to be out of their account. They can't have it anymore. Two, what if they make a mistake? What if their boss knows they make a mistake and brings it to their attention? High I, oh my God. See, high I's have massive buyer's remorse. If they feel it at all, like they're going to be criticized, you're not getting the account, and it doesn't matter. They told you, they liked you, you got the order. But if you don't do everything you can to make sure that order is going to sit, if they feel that someone's going to criticize them, they'll back away. High I's are easy to close, tough to keep closed. Now let's talk about, now that we have the attitude right, what are some guidelines you need to follow? So what we're doing here, as we have in every session, we're putting more bricks in your wall. We're solidifying how you can persuade others. So number one, close on the strongest benefit to them. It's what all the feeling is about in them, so make that benefit come alive in them. Second, we want to talk about a concept that's not in the book. This comes from James Muir in the book, The Perfect Close. He helped me understand the difference between a continuation and an advance. Now, what are these? In the selling process, the questions that you ask deliver the information that's requested. The problem that befuddles the bottom 80% is that the client will say something and they will infer that somehow it means they're getting closer to a sale. Those are continuations. An advance is something in which the prospect takes an action or exerts energy. So when you are putting together your call plan, you want to make sure you always identify the advances that you want to secure. So let's walk through some. So what's the difference between a continuation and an advance? Start with this one. Quote, they mentioned they know Bob Smith and really respect him. I sent them some literature. This is what a salesperson says to you, the sales manager. Is this a continuation or an advance? Why is it a continuation? Mr. Wilson?
Oh. Sorry, I was doing some...
Mr. Bennett?
Well, the customer didn't exert any energy towards it. So.
No energy, no action. So the salesperson comes back to the sales manager and says, I sent some literature out. And you as the sales manager say, was that an advance or a continuation? So what's going to happen next? Hope is not a strategy. How about this one? My prospect suggested he will set up a meeting with his CEO and he wants you to attend. Advance. Why? Because there's action. The CEO is setting up a meeting. Got it. Why did the CEO set up the meeting? Because you requested it. Rarely will a CEO say, oh yeah, I'll set up a meeting and do that. You have to ask for the meeting. You have to push for the meeting. If one of your advances is to secure a meeting for the next step, then you have to ask the question. She agreed to meet with our technical team here at the office to discuss her specific requirements for the project. Continuation or advance?
Advance.
Why?
She's agreed to the meeting.
She agreed to a meeting to discuss specific requirements. It's not just a meeting. A meeting is, let's have coffee, let's be friends. Those are continuations. If you build a sounder relationship with a person, is that a continuation or an advance?
An advance.
Did she take any action? Continuation. Number 4. I gathered a lot of great information today, boss. Continuation, right? You're getting it. Next. I conducted a demonstration and they said they were really impressed.
Continuation.
You're getting it. You're getting it. Next. He agreed to share confidential information regarding their specifications.
Advance.
Continuation.
Why?
He's agreed to give you the information, but he's not agreed to set up anything to have it go further.
It's confidential.
Why would someone make this statement? Because you have asked, you have said, your specifications and ours are different. We need to make sure that they fit together. So he then says to you, okay, I'll release this confidential information to you so that you can understand how to configure your product. Now that you understand that, is that a continuation or an advance? It's a massive advance, because now you've got something you can act on. We did lunch, and I suggested she look at a couple of our white papers, which I provided to her.
Continuation.
No advance, right? Is she going to read them? Are you going to have a meeting afterwards to discuss what she learned? Those are action, advance-like. Their CEO wants me to stop by the next time I'm in town. Aha, Mr. Vincent says, it sounds like an advance. Like the CEO said that? So next time when you're in town on a Tuesday, you drop by. The CEO's in Singapore. Did you get an appointment? Continuation. You can't stop with this. You have to ask yourself, energy or action? If they're doing it, then I'm pushing the sale forward. He will arrange a meeting with a group of their engineers next Thursday to evaluate our proposed solution.
Advance.
Advance.
Is there a way you can push a continuation into an advance?
Of course there is. So now that you understand the difference, the questions that you ask change. What are you going to ask for? An advance. Why do you ask for the advance? Because up front you identify the advances, the potential advances that you want to secure. Now you see, an advance is simply something that has to happen here, and then you need this advance, then you need this one, and then you can ask for the order. Sales cycles are getting longer because products are getting more complex, there's more competition, so you've got to get ready to line up the advances. If you have 6 advances you need, you can do 3 the first one, 2 the second one, 1 the third one, and then you can set up a final meeting to consummate the order. You have to configure these. Rarely today can you do a one-close call. Very hard. And in B2B, it's almost 0.
So in our presentation, I know we're shooting for one.
Sure you are. You can always ask for
But
it.
could it potentially end up differently, as in maybe in advance?
Can you ask for an advance and have the client say no? Then can you ask for a different advance to which he or she might say yes? Yes.
So we're going into our presentations or to our sales with 2 people. So
One. You versus you and the buyer.
Right. But then another person comes in after we leave.
Yes, the second
Right,
person
so
comes
could
in.
that not just kind of, could we continue on?
No,
Okay, so we
the
just-
second person goes in, it's a brand new ballgame.
All right.
It's a brand new ballgame. So the buyer is just going to start from the beginning. Yeah, it's not a tag team.
Okay.
Got it. Now that you have a good idea of continuations and advances, let that resonate. This is a critical point that will enable you to know, to pre-plan how it is that you can get what you want at each stage of the selling process. Next, there are always some tough points that you have to negate. Do not wait until after you've closed, that you've asked for the order, to bring up a tough point. If something is not clear, then you bring it up in advance of asking for the order. Because when you ask, the buyer is going to think about everything that you've talked about, and a feeling is going to come over him or her, and they're going to say yeah or no. And that's okay if they say no, but it just elongates the process. Never create a surprise after you've asked for the order. You might say. Great, so thank you very much. I'll get the process rolling right now to get this for you for next Wednesday. And the final price will be $39.95 plus delivery. The person says, delivery? Am I paying for delivery? Well, normally on this, you know, it's FOB your shop. We didn't talk about that. Now how do you feel? Crap. High eyes do this. High eyes, you listen to me? These surprises, you don't talk about it because they won't like you or some idiotic thing like that. And so you've got to present these issues up front because they're just objections and you have to handle them. No surprises at the end. Ask for the order once. Now when you ask and they say no, you now have, what I want you to do is memorize the response when they say no. You smile and you say, I'm sure you have a good reason for not wanting to go ahead today, Mr. Feldman. May I ask what it is? I'm sure you must have a good reason, Ms. Thompson, for not wanting to go ahead today. May I ask what it is? Because no doesn't mean anything. You don't know what no means.
What if they always come up with the same excuse? Not like them in particular, but what if it's the same excuse that the last person said and the last person said?
If it's true, that's called an objection. And either it's a condition, which means you cannot overcome it. And if you can't, why are you there? But if it's just an objection, you need to answer it. How do you answer an objection? I taught you this. You listen completely. You repeat or rephrase, right? You pause, as if it's the first time you've ever heard it. You answer the question, and then you confirm. You say, so did I answer your question? Now once you've answered their question, now you're thinking to yourself, should I close? Now if you've closed once, objection, you answer the objection, and then you ask again. And every time you have an objection, you answer it and you ask again, and you ask again, and you ask again. Sometimes you might use a different kind of a close. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. So those are the guidelines. Now let's talk about some closing clues. Like how do you know when it's time? Clients will demonstrate both verbal and non-verbal buying signals. You have to interpret. Some verbal signals. Daniel Pink says when you listen, you should listen for nothing. That means no judgment. You're listening and you're watching, you're inferring. you're looking at the emotion, you're looking at the body language. So let's go over verbals first. So by what people say or ask, you can infer that it's time to close the sale. First of all, questions they ask, if they ask. What type of warranty do you provide? What does that question mean?
It means they're considering.
Yeah, they like it. They just want to know the warranty. So once you answer the warranty, what should you do? Ask them, ask for the order. What if they say, how soon can we get delivery? You ask, how soon do you need it? We need it by tomorrow. If I can get it to you by tomorrow at 3 o'clock, are you in? Yes, I'll need your signature right here. Done. What if they say, is black the only color you offer? You ask.
Is that the color that you need?
Is there another color that you want? Well, yeah, I'd kind of like to have purple. So you say, if I could get you a purple one, then you'll sign on the dotted line, right?
What if it really is on the phone? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Confident.
Yes, it is. You can get every color you want as long as it's black. That was Henry Ford's answer, right? He wouldn't make cars of different colors than black. He just said, yeah, we have every color you want. Black.
So when it comes to Culligan, God forbid they ask about the different colors, can we just,
Well, Culligan has a myriad of designs and colors. Not a problem.
excellent.
Oh yeah. To meet every need, they've got them. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Now, that's a question. How about a recognition? What's a recognition? That the buyer is beginning to see that their needs can be fulfilled. So what if they say, so it'll take 14 days to deliver the materials to us? You say,
Yes.
do you know why? Do you know why they need it? So what's magic about 14 days? Don't assume you know, so ask back.
Which could you ask, like, do you need it sooner than 14 days? Or?
Well, so what is magic about 14 days? You just ask the question. Well, we need it because of this and that and that and that. So you're saying, so what you're really saying to me is you need it in 10 days. If I could supply it to you a week from Thursday, would that be sufficient? Yes. I'll just need your signature right here.
Question. If it's like an extra little bit of money for it to be delivered faster, like UPS Browns does, would you tell, like, is that when you tell them that?
So what if they need it quicker than you can provide in your normal distribution? But it would cost an extra $50 to send it next day air, and you make $1,000 commission.
Pay the $50 yourself.
So $50 is nothing. Do it. You go back to your, you say, I'm covering this, don't worry, take it out of my pay. No problem. That's what you do. How about, will this tractor do all the things you say it will do? Mr. Stallwood? And you say?
What do you need it to do?
So this says, all the things you said, you say it will do. And you would say, so what I said was, you needed this, it's going to do that. You need this, it's going to do that. You need this, to do that. Are those the things that you're looking for? Yes. I'll just need your signature right here. This is a buying signal. 3, I've always wanted to own a boat like this. And you say, Miss Thompson?
Take it.
It sounds, it's a buying signal, but don't just go, ooh. Okay, so what do you say? Really?
You like about this book?
Yeah, what is it? Well, it's blah, 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 blah. Well, I just need your signature right here, and you can put it, you can hook it up to your pickup truck, and you can leave today. Now, there are things called requirements. These are client things. You don't know everything, so you're listening without listening for anything.
Alright, so kind of going back to the boat thing, what if they're just like a tire kicker? Like, how do you come across to make it sound not like the old-fashioned car salesman, basically? Where they said, this is the boat that I've always wanted, instead of just kind of taking the bait and just going head over heels for it.
No. You don't take your head over heels. What do you ask when they ask that question?
Why they want it?
Why is it that you love this boat so much? This and this and this. And if you don't know that, you're going to say, oh, I get it. You like to fish in shallow lakes. And you like the fact that it's got a depth finder on it, so you won't get in trouble going toward shore. Oh, yeah, that's because I like to fish in that lake. Really? So what do you catch in that lake? I'm going to be all over that as the #1 benefit. They're mine once they show me that benefit. Now, requirements. So requirement #1. We will need to receive your final shipment within 2 weeks. So what do you say, Mr. Kroll?
We can get it to you in 10 days.
Well, hold on a second. Why? Do you know? Don't just bite. Ask back. So what's important about this 2-week time frame? Because what you want to do is fulfill their expectations. There's some knowledge there that you don't know. Listen for nothing. Listen and then ask. Like, why is that? Next, our staff will need to be trained in order to use the equipment correctly. How do you respond, Ms. Baldwin?
Do you want us to train them?
So, do you have a question? So right here, so do you have a training plan? Are you concerned about a training plan? You don't know what that means. You don't know if he doesn't have trainers, he's expecting you to do it, so you've got to get more information. But this is definitely a buying signal because he's already thinking about training them. This may be the way that you can close, is by showing him that you can, not only you can deliver it, but you can adequately train. Next, all of our equipment must be certified by our plant safety officer. Mr. Wilson, how would you respond?
Have you had any problems with safety before with other products?
Yes, that's why all of our equipment must be certified by our plant safety officer. That's why we have him.
Can we set up an appointment with him?
Should we get him in right now? So what kind of issues is he going to have that we can fulfill? It may be we got to set up another meeting if he has to sign off. Again, if it's a tough point, up front, before you close. Now, nonverbals. We talked about nonverbals before. They are even more critical than the verbals. So in the process of going from building trust to identifying needs to making your presentation, the buyer should be leaning in. It should become easier. They should start smiling, maybe cutting up with you, because they're comfortable that you're the person who's going to fulfill their need. When you start to see those nonverbals, now you know you're getting close. When you ask for the order, there's a feeling that you get because you are sensitive to the verbals and the nonverbals. You don't ask too early because you'll surprise the buyer. He might say, well, we haven't even talked about price yet. Sometimes you'll close before the price to initiate a price discussion. But you have to be sensitive to what you're selling for when you should ask for the order. Now let's talk about methods. Team 4, I want you to listen carefully because 2 of you, I want you to designate as the role players, and you're going to role play right up here how these closes look. So let's talk about the first one, trial closes. The book suggests that a trial close is an actual closing event. It is not. The Trial close can be used any time you need to verify information in the entire process. It is not a close even though it says C-L-O-S-E. Next, the direct appeal. This is the easy one. I'll just need your signature right here. Very simple. There's nothing manipulative. You are confirming that in your presentation you actually met the needs. And you just ask them to sign. It's very easy. Second, an assumptive close. An assumptive close is closing on a minor issue. So you might say, so you really like those front seats? Oh yeah, I just love them. So you want me to wrap this up and I'll deliver it on Tuesday? Assumptive close. Nice and easy, flows from a minor point. Then they'll say, oh, wait, we haven't talked about mileage and blah, blah, blah. Now, if you get an objection there, it's at the end. You go, oh, no, they're not going to buy. No, it's just a question. You smile, and you answer their question. Next, the summary of benefits. Now, for all of B2B salespeople, this is a critical close. It works really well on B2C also. So what does this mean? You've identified all the needs. Your prospect has said, these are the personal benefits I'm going to get. Welcome back, Ms. Buckner. Great to have you back. Okay, so you have listened to all the needs. I just want to make sure you're with us. And he's acknowledged, yes, I'll get personal benefits. So you show him how the product or service delivers those, and you close with a summary of the benefits. So what you told me is, you wanted to do this, and our XYZ does that. How's that sound? I'm going to do this. Yes, that's what I want. And it's going to do this and this to help you do that. Yes, that's what I want. And this to be able to do that. Yes, that's what I want. Then I'll just need your signature right here and we'll get started right away. Very clear, very concise.
Would you ever use a close looking for a no in that you're going to get the information on why does he seem like he doesn't want to buy it? Like if I could use an assumptive close expecting a no just for the sake of more information?
Sure. I would say, if you know something's wrong, you could say, you know, at this point in our discussion, I feel like there's something going on with this before you go to the close. Okay. When you hit the close, you should normally expect the answer is going to be yes, because you've done all your homework. I would tackle that in advance. Okay. All right. Next, some special concession close. So what's this? This is, they like it, they've done everything, and they just need a little push. So you say, normally, with iPhones, we provide Apple Care for 30 days. But my manager has told me that today I can offer people a 1-year Apple Care at no additional price. I just need your signature to put that into operation today. Special concession. You've done that. Yeah. It's just they're right there just to get them to say, okay, I'll buy it. One last thing. Next is the old Ben Franklin close. Now this is, we call this the balance sheet close. Here's how it works. So Mr. Vincent is interested in upgrading his iPhone to the new iPhone 10 or 8 or whatever they're saying. So I made the presentation, and in complex issues, where there are several things that are going on, and you're trying to get the person to acknowledge that the pros outweigh the cons, here's how you do it. You'd say, so what I understand from you, Mr. Vincent, we talked about, that you like the fact that I don't know everything, Mr. Vincent, so I'm going to make up some stuff. So the new screen you really love because you like to take photographs and look at them on your phone. You also said you wanted additional memory because you ran out of memory in your old iPhone 7. And you also said you wanted the enhanced Siri because you wanted to start to do voice to text, and it operates much better in iPhone in 10. And you also wanted this and wanted this. I do the pros. Then I say to him, so you've also mentioned you have some concerns about your iPhone. What are those? I'm not going to mention the cons. He's going to mention the cons. He's going to say, well, I'm afraid it'll break. That's not a good one. I'm afraid it will do this and it will do this and it's too expensive. You back away and you say, so Mr. Vincent, it looks like because the pros outweigh the cons that you've made your decision. Is that true? He says yes or no. If he says yes, great. If no, he's got another concern, just a question, we dive back in. Again, this is just for complex issues. Questions? So we've looked at, Ms. Evans.
I was just going back to the fact that we're presenting this tomorrow. Do you want us to do that as a part of one of
Two people to role play right here. We'll move this desk out here. One of you will sit on one side, one will sit at the other.
Okay.
You'll start with some of those entree questions we talked about before. So you'll bring up an issue, like an objection, and you'll practice this ahead of time, and the other person will answer that and demonstrate a close. Then you'll switch sides, and you'll do it again, and you'll do it again, and you'll do it again. Spend 3 or 4 minutes exhibiting, helping students understand how to apply the close, and you can even do it using Culligan if you want.
Okay. So is that someone's presentation, or are we all 7 giving our own presentations?
2 people. I want 2 people to do a role play. The other 4 or 5 will do other things in your presentation. Now, what do you do when they say yes? Now, this is critical. It's critical. Don't blow it. But I'll tell you what, high eyes blow sales all the time. Number 1, when they say yes, well, first of all, before they say yes, we haven't covered this. When you ask for the order, the next person who talks buys. When you ask for the order, shut up. Because the next person who talks buys. You're either going to buy it back from the buyer and he's not going to buy it all, or they're going to buy. Now, when I was a broker with Edward D. Jones, back when the dinosaurs were in charge of the S&P 500, a Xerox salesperson came in 1982. My office was down on State Street. And Xerox, at that time, they were leasing copiers. You couldn't buy one. You could just lease them. They had a monopoly on the business, and their salespeople were spectacular. Great training. I knew that. So I wanted to listen to the Xerox guy's pitch. And he came in, I said, sure, sit down. I started enjoying his presentation. We got to the point that he thought was the close, and he asked me for the order. I picked up his brochure. He didn't say a word. It was longer than this. Nobody said anything. I finally said, so who's going to talk? He said, you did, and you bought, right? I said, yeah, you're right, I won. It's like I leased it. I didn't intend to lease a Xerox copier. Guy executed that enormously well. When you ask for the order, shut up. Don't say another word. Because what's the buyer doing? He's processing, he's trying to figure out, like, I got this, I got that, it's going to cost me this money, all those remorse things are going through his head. You don't want to distract him. Let him be the first one that talks.
So if you're like standing up doing this, do you take like a step back? Or like-
This would be a one-on-one. It wouldn't be with an audience.
Well, no, say we're both standing up and like I say it and then like you take like a.
Oh, I'd stay right there.
Okay.
I'd eyeball him just like this. He looks down, I'm smiling. Because he's not going to be looking at you, he's going to be thinking. He's asked me to buy, and I got to think about this, and do this, and do this, and do this. Don't distract him. He says no, it's quite all right. He'll say, I'm sure you must have a really good reason for not wanting to go ahead today. May I ask what it is? Yeah, I've been thinking about blah, 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 blah. It's just a question. Don't let it bother you. Okay, so the first thing you do is you shut up. Next, you confirm what you are going to do and what he can expect. Now remember, when you get the first yes, it's the beginning of the relationship. It's the beginning. Because when he says yes, and you fulfill, and you get another order, the next order is easier and easier. But what we have to do is make sure that administratively you do exactly what you say you're going to do. Why? Trust. Then you get the order and you confirm, get the hell out. Leave. Why? Because all high eyes want to stay and just, they're so happy and they've got the order and they just start jabbering and they say, oh yeah, everyone likes our new light. You know, it opens up in the morning and it has a lifetime of 100 hours. The guy says, 100 hours? What's this 100-hour stuff? It said LED, right? Yeah. Don't LEDs last 1,000? You say, well, on this one, it's, whoa, if it's not that, now listen, I'm not going to buy. Do not talk your way out of sale. You got the order, out. Because here's what happened, guys. When they say yes, they are at the top of their level of satisfaction. Because when you leave, buyer's remorse sets in. Well, did I make a mistake? So the confirmation helps. You send an email right away that says, I'm going to do this and this. You say at the end, I'm going to send you an email and I will identify everything that you need to do and I need to do to make sure this is going to work. And then you do that following. Next, should you ask for a referral after you get a yes? The answer is no. The book is in error. Why? Because they're at the peak of their satisfaction, but you haven't done anything for them. You haven't fulfilled the need. They haven't gotten the benefits yet. Once they've gotten the benefits, then you can ask for an order. You can ask for a referral. How do you know when to ask for a referral? When they say, thank you. We've already gone over this. And you say to them, oh, it's my pleasure. It's been so great working with you. So what is it that we're doing that you really appreciate? Well, I appreciate blah, 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 blah. Fabulous, boy, just music to my ears. Can I ask for a favor? Well, sure. You help me, I'll help you. What you liked was because these gloves really, they're tight on your fingers and they really grip well. Do you have any other friends who ride motorcycles and blah, 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 who would appreciate a glove that really gripped their fingers? Yeah, I was told blah, blah, blah. Now you got a referral. But only after they have seen and felt the benefits. Now, what if they say no?
No.
What you don't,
Which part?
what you don't do is go, no, it's not about you, it's about them. There's some reason why, what they have, and you need to get that on the table. So you've memorized the quote, right? Mr. Dahlquist? No.
sure you must have a good reason for
Oh,
not
that's a
going
good
ahead with
answer.
this. Can I ask why?
Exactly.
That's good.
Can I ask what it is? And you smile. You're still smiling. I just told you no and you're smiling. Man, you must be pretty confident that I'm going to get this benefit. Because if you presented it well, you're not selling the product. The product is the thing that just creates the benefit. You're selling the benefit. You're not selling the computers. Now, so when they say, no, I'm buying from someone else, is that the end? No. Hang in there. Remember, you've got this attitude that you have got something that will really fulfill a need they have. Be persistent.
Normally when you ask for a referral, or when like the customers ask for a referral, it's because of like a incentive that that customer receives. Like is that just like getting?
Well, I know
How does that work?
insurance companies do that. They will reduce your premium by this if you give them a referral. Well,
Or
that
TV companies and
is
stuff like that.
only to people who will appeal to return on investment. What if the person doesn't have a strong return on investment and you're asking him to do something for money? It's like, send one of my friends? You might screw it up and then they won't be my friend anymore? No, no. Value. So you always want to be asking needs-based referrals, and it'll work. So there are times when you get beaten. They say no, and you go back, and you debrief. Your sales manager should always do this with you. So tell me, question 1, what did you do well? I did this and I did that. I asked for this and I did that. Okay, did you ask for this? Oh, no, I didn't do that. In the future, do this right here. Oh, okay. What you're looking for are improvements. What you did wrong, forget it. Because if you reinforce, if you think about what you did wrong, and the next time you get in that setting, what will you do, Ms. Buckner? Yeah, you'll do the wrong thing again. It's like, oh, I asked for the order. Oh, I gave him the price too early. Oh, crap. How did I do that? Debrief it, figure out what you're going to do, fix it.
Have you ever, like, put someone else on the phone with you, put your phone in your pocket and, like, they can hear you, like, talking to your
Yeah, like a
client?
butt call? Yeah.
Not on, like, on purpose.
But you
So, like, they
do it on purpose.
They can
So like
help
you
you.
record yourself so that in the future you can, but instead of having to remember where you messed up, you can.
The only problem with that is an ethical issue that you're recording their voice.
Yeah.
Just be careful. You know, it's...
But you're not recording.
Now here's what you can do. Lots of telephone systems are set up so when the machine answers and it says, we reserve the right to record calls for training purposes. That's what that is. So you can do it on inbound calls. Just be highly ethical.
I think it always has that on the recording when you call our spectrum that this call may be mine.
Exactly. They don't want, because then someone could launch a class action suit and then they'd be out zillions of dollars. Last, so you lose. And you call the client a week later and you ask for lunch. And you ask him to just give you some feedback on what you could have done differently and better in your sales presentation. It's highly respectful. The person may not do it, but they may say, you know what? I respect that you want to get better. It's a part of our culture, and yes, I'll meet with you. And in that one, you learn. You learn expectations, you learn about your competition, about what they're doing and their expectations. All that information goes into your head, so the next presentation you make, now you know how to kill it in the next one. Absolutely.
Would you do that lunch afterwards if you're selling a smaller product, like a $15 or $20 a month product versus a multi-$1,000 product? Like if Spectrum came to your house and they didn't sell you what they need to sell you, do you expect Spectrum to call you for like a low monthly thing, or is it only like for the high value items? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the higher the value of the item, the more often you're going to ask for the interview.
Exactly.
But it's okay if you call later and say, and reiterate, I thought I did everything possible.
Okay.
You may ask for an interview on the telephone, and that might help too. Yeah. All right, now, when should you push? Well, so now fully consider. If you push someone and they don't need it, okay? You push them, how do you feel?
They're not gonna be happy.
Call this irritation. You're irritated if someone is trying to get you to buy something you don't need. But agitate is when you know you need it, I know you need it, you know you need it, you just don't want to pay, or there's some reason out there. That's when you push. Now push just means be persistent. Don't take no. Today, we started with the notion of finally, let's figure out how to help you close more sales. You can never be afraid to ask for the order at the right time. You've learned a lot today, and Team 4 will come back on Friday and reaffirm all these blocks that we're putting in to kind of finish your sales wall in your introductory course. When you get this, more orders. Your sales manager is going to love you, and more Benjamins in your pocket. Looking forward to Team 4 on Friday. See you guys then.
I mean,